Oh! No, Paco, nothing will happen if you don't turn the freaking camera on. Good morning, everyone. Yes, we need a camera and we need for it to be on. Good morning, everyone. This is Coffee and Headlines. It is a great morning. I had an epiphany just before we got started because I figured out how to do something I've been wanting to do and improve the website for Coffee and Headlines. So I am all giddy. This means that as soon as we're done with today's broadcast, I will put myself to work to create more fun stuff for you to enjoy. Yes, but in the meantime, this is Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook where we can enjoy news from our city, state, and country. We can enjoy the wonderful exchange of information that you make possible with your questions, your ideas, and suggestions, and hopefully a more connected life. I was going to say a more connected week. Well, why not? If you're here only for a week, hey, let's have a connected week as a community of English-speaking locals. I hope everybody's doing great. Today is Wednesday, August 30th, and I am just happy because yesterday was a good day. I'll tell you about it in a second. And I'm happy because we have a few interesting news to share. But before we go there, as usual, if you're watching live for the first time, feel free to let us know by writing the word new and we'll give you a nice little welcome. And if you have something really important that you wish to share with a cluster and you want me to bring it up later on, just add a capital letter Q as Louisa has done. One more day before my hubby's birthday, and that means 3 milk cake day. That is so indulgent. I love it. I love pastel de tres leches. It is a fabulous cake. Anyhow, let us get started with our news because we have some interesting and good news to share, starting with the fact that there is a COVID-19 vaccination campaign for children from 5 to 12 years of age that has been announced, and it starts today. This is a first and second Pfizer dose campaign, and it is necessary, obviously, for children to show up to the hospitals that I'll mention in a second, accompanied by a guardian or a parent. The vaccines are available until supplies last, or rather, while supplies last, at the regional hospital and the naval hospital with service from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Why vaccines and why now? Well, in case you don't remember, the government announced that during the fall, I mean, we're still in the summer, I think, but during the fall, COVID vaccines would come back along with flu shots so that we can all get some sort of a booster. So this is the first knowledge that I have of vaccines coming back. I assume that vaccines for adults should be not far behind, and I will definitely keep you posted as that happens. Then School has barely just started 2 days ago, and folks out there are already wondering if there will be a long weekend during this year's Independence Day celebrations, as September 15 is a Friday. The answer is no, because the official holiday is celebrated on September 16. And soon enough, I will be sharing the curious story of a Mexican president that decided to change the date of the celebration from the 16th to the 15th because it matched his birthday. So while there may be a ton of people out and about celebrating Mexico's independence, and there may be some people that decide to take Friday off, Friday the 15th, despite it not being official, the fact remains that it is a working day and most of us will have to work. Now, yesterday, this came and went, and I didn't even notice, but 2 years ago yesterday, our city was on standby due to the passing of Hurricane Nora through the region. And boy, did it pass. In a short amount of time, the Category 1 hurricane ravaged neighborhoods close to the Rio Quale, not due to weather happening here in the city, but due to intense rains that took place inland, dramatically increasing the flow of the river to the point that the water went over the Insurgente Street Bridge, and the bridge ultimately collapsed. There was a casualty, and it seems it was yesterday, but it was actually 2 years ago yesterday. Most of the city has recovered, of course, but as we mentioned from time to time, there are still a few spots along the Rio Quale that have yet to be brought back to the way they were before the hurricane came and went. And fortunately, we have not had severe weather such as that since then, but boy, was that a scare. Now, I mentioned in the show announcement that I asked if you knew what a cascarita is, and a cascarita, or well, cascara is how do you say cascara in English? Cascara is the outside of a nut, not the inside part that you eat. Anyhow, in Mexico, a cascarita is the name used to describe an informal football game that usually takes place outside of a dedicated soccer field, like in the street. And I was quite surprised by this news item because, for starters, I was not even aware that some municipalities in Jalisco, including Zapopan and Talpa, forbid children and adults from playing cascaras out in public. And breaking the law is not cheap, with fines of as much as 15,000 pesos. That is, if your child decides to go out and play on the street and play a little informal game of soccer with his pals, the authorities can come and fine you for this. Fortunately, Mexico's Supreme Court has declared the law unconstitutional, and I am reminded of Cat Stevens' song, "Where Do the Children Play?" How crazy is that? I mean, that you can play games out on the street because it is illegal. I wonder what the fundaments of this law were when it was approved, and I am glad that it is no longer approved. And with that said, let us turn over to the weather just to see what's going on out there. And I put it on my screen, and it says, "There is no curse in Elvish, Entish, or the tongues of men for this bad weather." Well, I don't think the weather is that bad, actually, but this is what Snarky Weather has to say. We have 30 degrees going on right now. Humidity is at 75%, and our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 86 at this very moment. Today, we can expect rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 61%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Thursday, we can expect thunderstorms throughout the day, a chance of rain of 68%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. And Friday, mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 84%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. And that is the formal news block. I want to continue by I was so intrigued yesterday when you kept referring to some sort of Java Jolt extravaganza. And it is the funniest thing. You see, when I program the announcement for each broadcast, there's a little button on my software that changes the standard announcement that says coffee and headlines August 30th to some artificially generated blurb. And lo and behold, I didn't notice that somehow the software decided to call yesterday Java Jolt Extravaganza September 2nd. And I don't know why that happened. I really don't. But I was curious and I went looking, and that's what it was. Two more items for today. Well, actually, before we go there, I want to um, let you know that yesterday's promo Prodigy presentation was a lot of fun. It was a small crowd, which is actually good for this type of presentation because it allowed to see, to spend one on one time with those that attended and learn more about their events and their projects. And there was some interesting stuff that was brought to the table. Hopefully, we were all a little bit inspired by the knowledge. And of course, Promo Prodigy will be coming back either next month or the following month. I don't know at this point, but I am grateful to have connected with people that I didn't know very well, and hopefully I will get to know better in the future. Now, moving right along, Tribuna de la Bahia reminds us of something that many of us already know, which is that Puerto Vallarta's Colonia Emiliano Zapata has been considered the most popular LGBT plus neighborhood in all of Mexico for some time. For me, the interesting irony is that the article, the paper, refers to the neighborhood as Sona Romantica. And why is it called Sona Romantica or Romantic Zone? The story that I've known for years and nobody has contradicted me, and this is something that somebody told me, is that back in, I think it was in the 1980s, when businesses in the area that were not so keen on all the homosexual activity that was going on and all the businesses and so forth, decided to try to find a way to make Emiliano Zapata more family friendly or honeymoon friendly or romance friendly. So they came up with this moniker of Romantic Zone to hopefully imply that it was a place for love and romance for couples, boy girl couples. So I don't know that Zona Romantica is any more or less romantic than any other tourist area in the city. I choose not to use the expression Zona Romantica because the name of the neighborhood, the official name is Colonia Emiliano Zapata. But how ironic that now the romantic zone, which was designed as such to deter homos, is now the most popular homosexual or LGBT plus destination in the country. Talk amongst yourselves. And last but not least, I want to pay tribute to a loss that we suffered 2 days ago. Puerto Vallarta lost a maverick with the unfortunate passing of artist Marta Gilbert 2 days ago. Although back in the 60s, local artists such as Ramon Barragan and Manuel Lepe had already carved a name for themselves in the area. Marta was among the first foreign artists to establish themselves here in town. And while Marta kept a place to live here since her very first visit, she didn't establish herself as a full-time resident until 1975, settling in a small place at the end of Olas Altas Street, where she remained for the next few years, subsequently moving across the street. And just as she remained in the same neighborhood throughout her life, her lifelong pursuit of capturing a variety of native characters, mostly women, on canvas became her trademark. And while it might seem easy to dismiss her body of work as repetitive, there are so many beautiful expressions that appear in the gazes of her subjects throughout her work. Her family released a statement in loving memory of Marta Gilbert. It is with profound sadness and heavy hearts that we announce the passing of our beloved and beautiful mother, Marta Gilbert. She peacefully departed this world on August 28, 2023, at 91 years of age. In accordance to her wishes, Marta's ashes will be spread at Los Muertos Beach, a place she held close to her heart. We will hold a celebration of her remarkable life and provide further details in due course. We are immensely grateful for the outpouring of support and love that everyone has shown towards our mother during this difficult time. Your condolences and warm thoughts are deeply appreciated as we navigate this journey of grief. May her memory be a beacon of love and light that continues to shine in our hearts. Next time you find yourselves at the Art Vallarta Museo, next time you find yourselves at the River Cafe restaurant or Café des Artistes, you are bound to come across some of her beautiful, beautiful canvases, which are always on display in those places. And again, most of her body of work consists of beautiful indigenous women. But I had the pleasure of knowing Marta since the very first year that I was here. In fact, I think I spent more time with Marta during my first year in Puerto Vallarta than the whole 21 years that I've been here, because she was a frequent visitor to my next door neighbor at my first apartment here in town. So she and her friend Lavinda and I would sit around and drink rum and cokes and have a fabulous time. I consider myself fortunate to own one of her original drawings and one of the few that she did of a male subject. So, long journey ahead for Marta as she crosses the Rainbow Bridge. She will always be remembered and revered as one of the most amazing visual artists here in the city. And now let us take a quick look at your comments and suggestions just to see what everybody is up to. I see a good afternoon and I see a bunch of good mornings, and those are always wonderful to look at, as you know. And I see some people counting days, 42 days away from my 8-month stay. That is wonderful. We acknowledge that Q. Today is Lucas's birthday. Oh, no. It's Luke's birthday in Guadalajara. I got confused. It's the other Lucas. I love it. Yes. My bad. Somebody asks, I saw these in Kiosco. Are these the same thing you spoke about with ketchup chips? Well, I cannot see what you are talking about, Jules. So, unfortunately, I can't help you. That deserves... Where is Gina when we need it? I can't find my Gina sound effect. Come on, where is my Gina sound effect? Well, it's lost in the... there it is. There it is.
¿Qué es eso? No entiendo.
No entiendo. Let's see what else we have. Thanks for the correction, Catherine. 2 casualties due to the flooding river. Let's see what else. Yay! Rob came to Promo Prodigy last night. Thank you for an outstanding evening of promotion information at last night's meeting. A wealth of knowledge shared. It was a pleasure to spend more time with you, Rob. Rob, as we know, is a new in-town friend who is also a musician. May we get a chance to hear him perform sometime in the near future. Let's see. There's a cue here. Does that article about the gay capital of Mexico mean there is more tourism in that area? Well, I don't know what you've referred to as more tourism. For better or worse, Emiliano Zapata has been the most magnetic tourism neighborhood in the city for many, many years. Does that mean there is more tourism in that area? Well, there has been an increase of tourism in all of Puerto Vallarta. And I personally find it sometimes a little overwhelming to try to walk the streets in Emiliano Zapata during some times of the year. For example, the week between Christmas and New Year's, I try not to spend a lot of time there because, there's a lot of tourists in town and they deserve as much space as they need to be able to enjoy themselves during their hard-earned vacations. Question from Alan Shepard. Does anybody do the café lechero in PV? I don't know exactly what you mean by café lechero, so I cannot answer that question. If you mean café con leche, which is, coffee with milk, that's what I drink every morning. But if you mean something else, I don't know. Oh, thank you, Lars. Thank you very much for that. Well, Marta has been very, very important, and that's basically, it's very, very well deserved. Am I able to post a photo here? Not during the live broadcast. So there you have it, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. I don't know. But no, if you send it to me, Julia, I'll be happy to post it and share it the next time around. Albert says, I find Emiliano Zapata to be way overcrowded and loud. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And Gwen has a reminiscence here. Remember meeting Marta Gilbert many years ago? What a kind, humble person she was. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I was not aware of the fact that her health had turned to the worst in the past few days, and I was saddened to hear yesterday during my presentation that she had passed. But hopefully she will be remembered through many, many years through her beautiful body of work. Mean like the café lechero de Veracruz. Veracruz. I've had coffee with warm milk in Veracruz, if that is what you're referring to, Alan. Veracruz is on the other side of the country. I don't think I've seen it served in Puerto Vallarta the way it is served in Veracruz. There's a coffee shop in Guadalajara that I love very much that does it Veracruz style, but I have not seen it done like that here. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of today's broadcast. As I mentioned, I'm going to get to work on some fun projects this afternoon. I hope you have an amazing day. And as always, I thank you for your comments, your ideas, your suggestions, and your contributions to this broadcast. As always, have a great day, and may we cross paths sometime in the near future, hopefully tomorrow. Take care.